Hey, damn, mateys, how's it going? Alright, here we go for the 100 millionth time. Well, for the 100 millionth time anyway. Since I have a new account, I'm going to put this again. Alright, there's an article written about yours truly. May 8th of last year, the New York Times. Sweat, Corey Kilgallen, who's a writer for the New York Times, wrote an article on yours truly called When the Court Won't Let Go. Kind of a small thing about my career, my hip replacements, blah, 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 blah. Alright then, mate, here we go. I'm going to speak like this, if you don't mind. I like to speak like a pirate. Okay, here we go. I'll make this really quick if I can. I did it before and it lasted just too damn long. Angel Marquez was a New York handball legend. He wore down opponents with his hustling and diving playing style, winning countless tournament championships since the 1970s. Yeah, I won my first tournament in 1974. That all-out approach has worn him down, blowing out his hip joints. But Mr. Marquez, 53, does not take losing lightly and resists making concessions to age and physical decline. Come on, give me a break. I'm 55 with 2 titanium hips. How can I lose? Alright, here you go. No way I'm going to let this end my career. I'm the one who decides when I quit this game, he declared after he set off for practice on Thursday, which is true. I decide when it's over. I do. Not my injuries, not sickness, or nothing. I do. One day it's going to stop. But man, what a ride. On an empty handball court in the Bronx, Matthews actually, Mr. Marquez almost gingerly on 2 titanium replacement hips. He began walking the ball against the wall with effortless precision. Left hand will twalk, right hand twalk. After many months of his not playing, his hands still rough as sandpaper from the decades of being used as paddles, were wrapped with duct tape for padding. Like many aging champions, Mr. Marquez is taunted by the taste of victory. I still like to win, he said. Actually, I still do. I still play to win. I still have the eye of the tiger. But I'm done with tournaments, you know what I mean? Too much bullshit anyway. Not worth even playing, not worth even winning. Who cares? I just enjoy playing. I was known on every handball court in the city simply by word of mouth, he said. And I want people to know I'm still here. Imagine that, being known, getting a reputation by word of mouth, not internet, not cell phones, nothing. Just, I could go to any court back in the days like I do today, and everybody knows who I am, or who I was. Check that out. Oh, you Angel? Yeah, alright. Handball is a New York City quintessential street game, and for nearly a century its players have been the best in the world. Best in the world, which is what I was. They are ultra-competitive street legends with outside egos, colorful nicknames, and quirky personalities. Their reputations are debated and preserved by players of the 2000 courts in the city. Mr. Marquez grew up in the Bronx with an abusive father known as Muscles Jerry, which he always used to beat the crap out of us, and he drank too much beer, and he became an alcoholic from playing handball, believe it or not, and live off my mother's welfare. It was a freaking nightmare. Yeah. On a local handball course, he played for cases of beer, as they say. He refused to let his 3 sons leave the house for anything except handball, which is true. We were prisoners in our own home. Eager for freedom, Angel was playing daily by age 8. He was tournament tested by 13. Yes, I was. Yeah, I did. I played in tournaments when I was 13 years old. Open, by the way. Yeah, I beat crap back then. I had a lot of hatred and anger because of my father, which I did. He said, with handball, I finally had somewhere to focus and release it. I'll do anything to win. I humiliate my opponents to the point where they would yell, "Why are you embarrassing me?" An obsession with handball led him up to drop out of theater high school at 16. It'll keep him from holding a steady job. Through his late 30s, there are no time for all court luxuries like friends or wife and children. I had a wife, but that was a mess. I didn't have no kids. On the 1980s and 90s, Mr. Marquez was pantheon of elite city players known as A players. A players? I was triple A. 30 holds that distinction now. With his vicious serve, he tried to hold opponents scoreless in games to 21 or 25. Not that if I didn't get the chance today, I'd still go for zip-outs. But that dominance was tasted early in his career when his idol Ruben Gonzalez, the handball king who ruled in park courts in the Bronx, showed up in Mr. Marquez's own court on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. It was a tight match, but Mr. Marquez beat Gonzalez, which made word spread. You know what I mean? That's when everybody really started to know who I was. Riding high, and I wasn't a flash in the pan, by the way. Riding high after that win, he began traveling the city looking for the best players in the high stakes. A player partner drove him from park to park and backed them. Yes, he did. His name was Frankie. They say, Angel will play anyone here and I'll take all bets, Mr. Marquez called, and then he'd take most of the winnings. Yes, he did. He was like my manager. Traditionally, the best young handball players in New York City have all the top players as mentor. John Wright, 88 of Harlem, known as Rookie, and now widely considered the top player in the city, became a teenage protege of Mr. Marquez after meeting him at the West 4th Street courts. West 4th Street is second perhaps only to Coney Island in the mecca of handball in New York. When I met Angel, he was just as strong as everybody, Mr. Ront said. We didn't think anybody could beat him. He had a killer aggression and great hand, 2 great hands. No one could match his intensity level. What's changed? Last Sunday, Mr. Marquez dropped by West 4th Street to practice watching over his top student, Justin Rodriguez, 17 of Staten Island, who was playing on the money court against Timothy Gonzalez. Yeah, I got my money worth out of that brat. Known as Timbo, another top player. Mr. Marquez has shown Justin his lethal style, the cup hands, a whip-like hitting motion, but he also imparts his strategy of a handball hustler. To court money opponents, he often offered to play them using only his left hand or hitting only backhand shots. I show up in the court after 5 p.m. a weekend wearing a suit and tie like some working stiff who only play casually. Actually, tonight, I'll beat that bloke for the watch I did. I'll give it back. Actually, I should talk like this right on that one. Another trick was to put grape juice in a warm bottle and show up swigging it down like I was drunk, he said. I'll show up in sandals or heavy boots so players would think, no way I could win. You know, I beat Eric Cruz like that. I was working, and I went to Coney Island, had a suit. I told him, look, play him for money. I said, look, if you beat me, you take my tie off. If I make my tie off, you win. I kicked his ass as soon as a kid. Another trick was to, and when defeat seemed imminent, he said, always have a plan B on escape from the park and the bet. You could throw the ball over the fence and pretend to get it and never come back, he said. Then there was a partner who had epilepsy. My partner really did have epilepsy, by the way. It wasn't a joke. He suffered from epilepsy. The excitement, he would gamble, that's Frankie, you know what I mean? He'd argue, next thing you know, have an epileptic fit. Sometimes conveniently. And could pull a convincing fit when they seemed to be on the brink of losing. This Thursday, Mr. Marquez is back to practice regimen of dips, push-ups, and bike riding, and I was engaged in a few laid-back games with neighborhood players. They ain't no laid-back anymore. I'm going for the gold. He hopes to roll in the Masters Division tournament played this summer. No, old man tournament makes you the champion of old men. Never again. I beat up on the young studs. That's what I want to do. People are going to know, he said, between ball slaps. Angel Marquez is back. Alright, the story about Angel Marquez. New York Times, May 8th, 2011. On the, let me talk a little bit normally. It took an entire career to finally get recognized in a major paper in New York, which makes it really, really special. The legend tag was given to me by my peers, which makes that very special. Thank you very much, people. Angel Marquez is back. I plan to stay back. Come down over on Cortland Park if you want to meet me, or if you want to play against me, or if you want to kick my ass and whips also. Y'all take care. Cheerio.